Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's been a minute. Well, it hasn't been that long, but we haven't done Champion League semifinal. So we'll do that today, and we'll also talk about the drama that's happening at Real Madrid. So let's just get into it. So the first game on Wednesday, the semifinal, was Bayern versus PSG. This is a game where I said it, this was the final, basically. This is going to be the final. So, make sure you don't miss it. You enjoy it. And I don't think you were disappointed. I can't believe anybody that was disappointed watching this game because this was basically the best game of the season. Yeah, this was literally like a final. I mean, the score, we got 9 goals in this game. You get 9 goals at the semifinal. We've never had that. First time in history. This is basically the first time in history. That being said, but let's get a little backstory. So for Bayern coming into here, like I was saying, this is an outstanding season for them. They basically dominated at home. I mean, that's what they do. They dominate Bundesliga. Their main prize this season was the Champion League. For Harry, for Diaz, I would even say, even Elise. You know what I mean? He had an incredible season. All three of them had record-breaking season for themselves, to the point that we are comparing these three to the best of the best. You get what I'm saying? So all they needed a crown for Elise or Harry Kane to really be contender to win the Ballon d'Or was simply been win the Champion League. And if they win the Champion League and the World Cup is coming up, if France win, Elise is obviously gonna take the Ballon d'Or. And if England wins, it would be Harry Kane. Simple as that. And if none of the teams won the World Cup, it would have been Harry Kane because he's having the best season, right? They're having that kind of run. We already know Bayern can be amazing. They can have an incredible season. But in the Champions League, as we know, one game can decide your fate. And really, the first leg of the game kind of decided Bayern's fate. And on the other side, for PSG, this is a team that the Club World Cup, they got embarrassed by Chelsea. And the way they acted, they were very childish. Even Luis Enrique was starting to fight with the players. It was quite embarrassing. I like to think they reflected on that situation and they wanted to prove to the world that, the fact that we won the Champions League last year was not a fluke. Just because we let Chelsea embarrass us in the Club World Cup doesn't mean anything, right? So that's what they have to prove. And they're lucky enough to have, a great coach. I mean, this guy, he's one of the best coaches. He's a coach who knows how to run the system. He's at a club where it looks like they gave him the freedom to buy, and whatever he says is the last word. These other big clubs, that's the main problem that's happening, Real Madrid, where the players are bigger than the coach. This is a club where the player are not bigger than the coach. It seems like the players want to listen to the coach, respect the coach, and they want to take his strategy serious. And I'm sure he's one of those coaches that really motivate. You want to win stuff for him because of how passionate you see that he is. Like, he's a very devoted coach. He's very knowledgeable, right? And he already won them in the Champions League last season. So this is like, let's do it again. So everybody is like, it worked last season. Why would it not work this season? So let's really listen to this guy. That's what he kind of was. So it worked, and they were absolutely no fear. So the first leg, they didn't sit back at all. We're talking about PSG team that has the best left back and the best right back. No argument at all. And I like the way they play. They play with a high line. They don't just sit back, but they also just don't let the back go. Marquinhos is right there. He's always right there. He's never even when he's high up, there's no following the line, be defender. No, this dude is like, I'm protecting the goal. And then whenever the two backs go up front, you see the midfielders come back and cover for them. So now you have Dembele, you got Hakimi, you got Nunes, you got the Georgian star. I mean, the way they just have too many talents, and all these talents have no fear. Each of them are not saying that I'm better than you. No one's depending on the other person to create something for them. Each of these players, they think they're the shit, and they're not shying back. They're playing the semifinal of the Champions League like it's just another league game. That's how they were playing. And there's a lot of people complaining about the first leg, that all these goals, the defense, people are pointing out defense mistake. No, this was just purely beautiful football. I mean, think about it. The first goal, Harry Kane, was a penalty. That was just penalty. And then, the second goal, the equalizer for PSG, amazing goal, no doubt about it. And then they also get a penalty. You get what I'm saying? And then you get a header, okay? And then you get another great goal from Dembele. So none of them was. It's very hard to pinpoint to say that it was a defensive mistake. This is just a world-class players. These guys they were clutch. Even Dembele, you can see that it could have been so much. It could have been so many more goals. Dembele missed so many more chances. He still could have had a hat trick. And that was just the first leg. And then on the second leg, going back to Bayern's home, you're assuming Bayern. It's only one goal, so the deficit is not even that bad. So you're thinking they're gonna get this back. The game is still on, and it's Bayern's home. They need to wake up, basically. Like, this is some serious stuff. They could really go out if they don't score a goal at their home. Leg back, PSG kicked off where they left off. Bayern did not, and that was the main problem. The game wasn't as fun as the first leg simply because PSG came to play. It looked like Bayern didn't come to play at all. It felt like the front three for Bayern were waiting for one of them to save them, really. Elise disappeared. How many times did he turn the ball over? He was not passing Nunes. He was in Nunes' pocket. That's what the kids like to say, right? But anyway, Elise didn't do anything. Kane was having such a hard time getting the ball. He was not even up front. He had to come back all the way, on his half just to get the ball rolling. So in the midfield, they were non-existent, is my point. And Diaz was good. Same situation. They just couldn't break through PSG. So PSG scores a goal, and they couldn't score a goal until a minute left in the game. And by then, it was too late. After the game, they were interviewing Neuer, and what he said it clearly. He's like, hey, man, we just didn't create enough chances. We were at home, and we couldn't create enough chances. And by the time we scored the goal, it was absolutely too late. It was all on us. It was. They were at home, and all they had to do was score. But by the time they scored, it was like a minute left in the game. So congratulations to PSG. They deserve to come through. It looks like it's a Champions League. It's 50-50. You never know what's going to happen. But I do believe it's impossible not to see PSG win in this game. But then again, they're playing against Arsenal, a team that is all about defending. They only let in 6 goals this season in the Champions League, right? 6 or 7. They less than 10 goals. They let in less than 10 goals. Okay, and on the other side, we have the team who is the best attacking team. So this would be a very interesting thing to see. This could be like I really hope this final doesn't turn out the way. I don't know if you guys remember when Manchester City was having that crazy run and they played against Inter Milan, and it was pretty dull. Like, I think it ended 1-0. It was just. I hope it's not like that, but it looks like it could be something like that. But nevertheless, I really don't see how PSG cannot win this whole thing. Okay, on the other side, as I was saying, Arsenal came through. Arsenal beat was Atletico Madrid and deservedly came through. And this was a fixture where it's a lot different than the other fixture, simply because that fixture was just what football looks like just from attacking purposes. And then on the other side, this is what football looks like defending. Just defending. Two teams that generally know how to defend, and their system starts from the back. Like they're back, and then then you focus on the middle, and then you think about the front. But the back is the main thing. Like, the Arsenal best players are the back players. You know what I mean? Same you can say about, well, you can't really say that about Atletico. Either way, the first league game was at Atletico home, and really for Arsenal, on that week, it was very, not rough, but a little stressful simply because Manchester City is behind them, and they're on them, you know what I mean, for the Premier League. And it's very important for them to really win the Premier League. Like, the Champions League, whatever, but the Premier League is the most important thing they need to win. It's a pretty big deal. They had such a crazy lead, and they let it go. And then on Monday, Manchester City played, and they tied against Everton. Now the league is back in Arsenal's hand. And that was on Monday, and they were playing on Tuesday for the second leg. And I like to think that gave them the, oomph, that little second gear, motivation to be like, yo, now it's all up to us. We have to really do this. And that's how they played. When they played against Atletico at home, they really played like we're going to make it. We're going to make it. So the first leg they played over there, and they tied the game. And like I said, it was a very dull game simply because the game that we watched against Bayern and PSG, it was just there's no way this was going to go the same way. We knew that, but I didn't think it was going to be as dull as first leg was 1-1, and it was penalty, both a penalty. And we can talk about the penalty calls or all these referee calls, but we got to let it go, okay? Even the first leg, they're complaining. We got to let it go. Even Bayern was complaining about the referee calls. It looks shady, but they were all. I can see it. That's all I'm saying. I can see it. The Mendy handball. The handball happened before that, so they called the handball before Mendy happens, and then what was it? The other call that was that he didn't agree was the penalty against when Davey, the handball to Davey. That was a handball. That was a handball. It was too close. I don't even know the handball rules, to be honest. If it was a handball, not a handball, I didn't. I would have to accept it, because of interpretation. Once we say interpretation, they can interpret how they want. And the other one was that Vitinho shot the ball at Neves' hand. Again, he was apparently the rules are, this is the actual rule. I had to look it up because I was like, how was that not penalty? The rules are, if you're in the same team, if the handball happens from a ball that your player hit, it's not a handball. So it can only be a handball is from the other opponents. But if you're in the same team, it's fine. That's the rules. That's the rules, not me. That's the rules. So that's why I was like, oh, okay. All right, then. That's it. Anyway, going back to the second leg. So the second leg starts, like I was saying, Arsenal, once it ended 1-1 at Atletico Madrid home, coming back to Arsenal, it was kind of done and dusted. All Arsenal needed was one goal, and they did everything that they could to get that one goal. On the other side for Atletico on the second leg, they had a goal. I mean, Sainamoni, he had a perfect goal, but he decided to go down, try to get a penalty, but it wasn't a penalty. He's the one who put the ball out. So they had that chance. They had a few other chances, but the real big problem is Atletico just doesn't have a firepower up top. That's really the biggest problem they have. And Arsenal has it. Arsenal has like 3 teams going for them. They're pretty serious about this. So regardless, congratulations to Arsenal. They're in the final of the Champions League. They're only one win away to win the Champions League. Also, the Premier League is solely in their hand to lose it. Are they going to make it? Are they going to lose? We'll find out tomorrow, really. Okay? But anyway, last thing we'll talk about is Real Madrid and the drama that's going on. So wild stuff is going on over there. I mean, this whole year, this is the second season they're going on without trophy, and it's really getting to them. I thought it wasn't going to get to them, but it is getting to them. So it started off with Kylian Mbappe was the first person to kind of just gave up, like, they're not fighting for the league. The league is basically over. There's a chance that tomorrow is El Clasico, that if Barcelona wins tomorrow, it's over. Like, literally, we can find out it's over tomorrow. But even tomorrow, let's just say Barcelona doesn't win. Let's say they tie. Let's say they lose tomorrow, the El Clasico. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter at all. This is the first El Clasico that it just doesn't matter. And I think even Real Madrid knows that, and they're frustrated that the fact that they actually have to win. If they don't win, it would be so embarrassing to have their rivals win on their back. And this is Barcelona's home as well. Anyway, so Kylian Mbappe, he's like, yeah, it's over. I'm not doing. So he got hurt. He said he got hurt. There's a lot of people saying that he might not be hurt simply because after the injury, he flew to Italy. I don't know. He flew somewhere with his girlfriend, and social media got a hold of it, and they just went am. They're like, a time like this, you're gonna go watch some opera or something? You think you can go on vacation a time like this? We still should be fighting for the league. So people are very much upset. There's already that tension that was going on between Vinicius or Kylian Mbappe. There's 2 side camps in Real Madrid itself. There's a lot of people on Vinicius' camp, and there's a lot of people on Kylian Mbappe's camp. Actually, there is nobody in Kylian Mbappe's camp. Okay, simply because they feel they spent too much money on him, and since he got here, he got all the individual glories, but that glory was not shared by the team. Okay, and then they're seeing what PSG is doing over there. They're thinking maybe it is him. He left PSG, and they're flourishing. Okay, and then there's a video out, as we know, that where Enrique is talking to Kylian Mbappe and telling him like, "Hey man, you need to defend. You can't just be up there. We all need to defend and pressure. You got to work hard." and everybody believes that. See that? That's the reason why Enrique didn't want him anymore. So he came to Madrid, and he's doing whatever he wants. He doesn't have anybody like Enrique telling him, "You need to defend." Okay, so they're getting to a point where they have to pick a side. Is it Vinicius or is it Kylian Mbappe? You got to pick one. That's what it seems like. I don't know why you wouldn't pick Kylian Mbappe. But anyway, so there was a petition. So everybody's upset. I think the petition was like 55 million people signed a petition to get rid of Kylian Mbappe. We're talking about the guy who had the most goal in the Champions League this season. We're talking about a guy, his goal scoring attribute is insane. Insane. Simply because they don't want to get rid of Vinicius. Vinicius right now, he's an activist. Vinicius is not just a football player anymore. He's also an activist. You get what I'm saying? So there's people now are sympathizing with him from all the, the racist stuff, all that. There's a fan base that came in simply for that reason. So Kylian had to do some work, but it didn't even matter. It lasted maybe 2 days. That was on the news, and right after that, we get a news that Valverde and Tchouaméni got into a little scruffle twice apparently. And so the first thing was the club. The club puts a press release saying that we are aware there was the two first team players got into a scruffle, and then one person had to go to the hospital. Okay, and we're investigating, and we'll keep you posted, basically. That's what they said. So we're like, whoa, what? This is crazy. Is it that serious? And then a news comes out that this guy is like, he got traumatic brain injury. So everybody's like, did Tchouaméni really beat him up that hard? Well, what happened? And then Valverde finally comes out. He's like, yo, too much noise going around. They're defaming my character. This is what they're saying is not true. He's not okay with the fact that there's some snitch in the club, snitching into the media. And I'm thinking, it was your club. Your club snitched to the media. They're the one who, I haven't heard anything until the club made a statement saying that, corroborating about the story, that's saying that this did happen and we are investigating. Why did we need to know any of that? And now Valverde is blaming some, leak in their camp, in the Real Madrid camp or something like that. I don't know, but from my experience, I don't know if there was a story that Insider came from before the club had to release a press statement. Nevertheless, he comes out, he's like, yo, that's not what happened. It's not, he went as far as to say, I just fell on a table. It wasn't that this dude hit him or anything. It wasn't even a fight. He's literally like, no, I just hit my head on the table. So I didn't know just hitting your head on the table, an athlete to his level would give him, it would be as bad as getting a traumatic brain damage. How did he fall? And if that's the case, why is Tchouaméni also getting the same fine that he is? So the club basically came out, another press release saying that, hey, we talked to both of the players. We're going to fine each of them $500,000, and that's it. That was the end of the story. But my thing is, this happens everywhere. The players fight all the time. Every locker room, this is happening. But we don't hear about it. Why do we need to hear about this? Even if there was a leak, let's just say whatever he's saying is true, that they have a leak in the house, who's snitching to the media. Brother, you could have denied it. Why did the club take it serious? You guys could have handled all this inside. We didn't need to know about this at all. So was this Kylian Mbappe's camp? Are they trying to make us forget about the 55 million petition people that want him out? Is that what's going on? Because this doesn't make any sense. It's so dumb. This is so dumb. This is a dumb situation. He's the captain of the team. This is so silly. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. It's silly. That's all I got to say. It's silly. Tomorrow El Clasico has to be one of the most pointless El Clasico ever. That's what I think. It doesn't even matter what the outcome of this El Clasico is. It's over. The season is over. Anyway, that's all I got. Bye-bye.